Hey everybody, I'm Cherish.
And I'm Joy.
We're Musicals Musicals. And
today's video is brought to you by, I'm blocking it, Carolina Change.
Lot's wife. Oh my goodness, we're really excited to have been able to see Carolina Change because since, I don't know, maybe like 13 or so, and that like Road to Broadway.
Was that like 2005?
It was like Show Business.
The Road to Broadway, yeah.
Show Business, like, yeah, whatever it's called. So the documentary that that profile Carolina Change, Wicked,
and
Taboo, and Avenue Q.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the musicals that opened up that season. I think it's like 2004,
4, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Season of Broadway, and we've just kind of, I mean, of those shows, I mean, obviously, Avenue Q was our jam. Wicked's just been, Wicked is still doing its Wicked thing, and then Carolina Change was like the other one that we were like interested in. Mm-hmm. Never really got into Taboo.
Mm-mm.
Outside of that like one song, but yeah, Caroline, yes. I don't. What's the deal with like the shows? So it's like the American shows that were on Broadway at some point, but then like bounced to the West End and then bounced back to Broadway. Like what's up with that? Like Color Purple, I'm thinking of, and something else. This one and something else was like, I want to say Waitress, but yeah, kind of. Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Sunday did that too, I think. I don't know. But it was a thing. It was go see it if you can. I think it was limited. Is it limited?
I think so. I think so.
Like most roundabout shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kinda.
Which reminds me, I gotta get on seeing
Trouble in Mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got these tickets via 35 under 30 tickets, and
aka Hip Sticks.
And unless you like a subscriber to, like, they're like different like levels of subscription. Mm-hmm. So we have like your basic, like, don't have to pay anything subscription, which has like been fine, but like maybe we might need to upgrade so we can get closer seats, because the 35 under 30, and I apologize for that drilling noise. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, but we wanted to get this video out. What was I talking about? The seats? Yeah, with the seats with 35 under 30 are like located as like in heaven, like your rear mezzanine, and like the back rows of the rear mezzanine. Mm-hmm. And we've been up there before, like once with Kiss Me Kate, which wasn't 35 under 30, but we just wanted like quick tickets, I think. Mm-hmm. And we got those, but we were like in the front
of the front mezzanine,
of the back of the back mezzanine. Yeah. And then for Holiday Inn, we were also in the back, but maybe also closer to the front. But those were with 35 under 30. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's going on, but we ended up in like this weird row,
the second to last row.
Yeah, and orchestra left. Well, mezzanine, mm-hmm. like rear mezzanine on the left. Don't sit there if you can.
If you get the second to last row, try to change your seats, because
either like go back or go forward. Mm-hmm. Like don't sit in the second to last.
The last row has more legs.
Yeah. For whatever about that row we were in was just like bananas, and the section was like very like sparsely, like it wasn't very full, but you can tell like these are like the 35 and the 30 seats, because like everyone's like kind of like age, mm-hmm. There in that like section, and so we were kind of all like clumped together, even though the rest of the section was not filled up. And it was like very like okay, so I'm not tall, but I'm not short either. I'm like 5'6" or so. I'm like about 5'6", mm-hmm. And my knees touched the seat in front of me, which was like couldn't even like really like fit in like the seat, which was like crazy. I think Joy's niece didn't touch him. Joy's maybe about 5'4".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and hers didn't touch, but like my mother and I, we were like, oh no. Um,
Everyone was very uncomfortable.
Everyone was like very uncomfortable. I was sitting,
it was bacon in that.
Oh yeah, it was. The heat is in the heat is in the 54 Studio 54. That's where the heat is. Like all the heat on Broadway.
It was hot
in the theaters.
It was hot too. This one guy like moved. He like hopped over the seat in front of him to sit, and these two guys were like, "Oh, let us spread out too." And they went to move, and the guy was like, "Wait till intermission to move," and we were like, "Oh, geez, no," because we realized that the row behind us had no one in it, and we were like, "Oh, geez."
Like, what are the odds the whole row is like late? Not likely. And then the couple next to me, they were like, I guess they saw that like I could not fit like in the seat, or like I was like uncomfortable. Like I was like I don't know if I can make it. Like literally before the show starts, I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can make it. I'm standing at the statue down there like, can this show like start? Which by the way, it didn't start on time. The shows are not starting on time. And then they moved over to like the aisle seat and the seat next to the aisle, and then left the space for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, these are such nice people. Thank you for doing that. So I could kind of like position myself a little bit like better, but I couldn't make it. Like maybe about 10 minutes before intermission, I had to stand up again. Nobody's behind us, so like I just had to stand up. I couldn't take it.
Yeah,
like,
I told her to stand up because she was like bumping me.
I couldn't.
It was
Couldn't
ruining
fit.
my experience.
And I'm like losing circulation, like in my extremities, and stuff. It was bananas. I have never had that experience before. Not even at the Broadhurst. Like, and the Broadhurst is tight. But yeah. So maybe that's enough about that. The getting in the theater process is a little strange. They actually make you show your vaccination cards just to get to the box office to pick up your tickets if you don't have them on your phone, which we didn't. And
but we got our tickets before they were out there.
Yeah, but we got our tickets before they were out there, so no one asked us that. But they do once the queuing starts up. Well, we English the queuing. Once the line starts up to like let people into the theater, if you're gonna go to the box office, you have to show your vaccination card. They were green jackets. Yeah, green jackets, and we got wristbands a la like Book of Mormon. 6 is the only ones with the stamps, I guess.
And we love that.
I like the stamps better than the dealing with the bracelets. But and so it's on 54th. So it's a tight block, and then 54 below was right next door, and something else is there. It's like a school, right? It's like all right there, and so they know like people. There's traffic like on the street, and so the line doesn't start. They can't start it like on the side of the theater because there are other businesses and things there. So they put it on the outside of the curb, which is a little also still strange because then there are people like still like trying to like go around you, like between you and like a car, and like why would you do that when there's like the rest of the sidewalk like over there? So that was a little odd, and they're very strict on like when they open like the house to like let you in. So like.
And it was cold outside.
And it was cold that day. And it was, I mean, it's better. We feel like it's better to be like early and like waiting than to like be like worrying about like, oh no, is the show going to start before I'm able to like get checked and get in. And then like if you have like center seats, you want to get there before, so not like your whole row is not like there and you got to make everybody get up, even though. You got to do it, obviously, so you can get into your spots. But some people have attitudes about that, and I don't know. But
yeah, so that's just the whole theater itself process.
Yeah,
the show itself is so good.
Oh my goodness! Yes, to get to the show, 10 minutes into the video.
Yeah, the show is so good.
You want to give us a synopsis?
I mean, okay, so Carolina Change is about a middle-aged single black mother of 4. In Louisiana, she's a maid, and
in 1960,
is it 3?
Yeah,
3, and basically the show is just her trying to get through her life as things change around her. racial change, like life changes,
civil rights movement,
civil rights,
the children get older,
the children's, lives and stuff like that, and
a new boss.
Yeah, and so Caroline is a very private person, and how she gets through her day of like being like a maid is, like the things she does come to life. The washing machine, the dryer, the things that that she touches every day, and the radio comes to life. The bus comes to life, and basically, that's Carolina change. So
yeah, she works for a Jewish family.
Yes, that's important.
Which is it's different than obviously working for like a Southern Christian family, I suppose. I I guess from the outside it looks a little bit different, but to her, I guess it doesn't make much of a difference. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're in Louisiana. She
nothing ever happens underground in Louisiana.
So except for what Louisiana is. So right, the house that she works at has a basement, which had me thinking. And this is a Jewish family that lives there. Was this house part of the Underground Railroad? Let me know your thoughts about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Caroline was played by like Sharon Clark, who was like awesome. And it's like when you think of like Caroline, you automatically think of Tanya Pinkins. And I was just like, when we left the theater, I said, is it a little bit of sacrilege to say that I enjoyed? Not that I saw the original Caroline change, but I enjoy Sharon Clark's like interpretation of like Caroline, just like voice wise. Like I love it, and it's like,
so amazing because she's English.
And she's English.
It always interests me when black, English, British people do like traditional like African American like shows, because like our history is mostly similar, but it's very different once you get to America,
right?
Like our different than like the people who grew up on the islands, and,
right?
Or the people who from the islands to England,
right?
Things like that. It's very different. So it's just like, oh, like they didn't. This civil rights movement wasn't the
or
same.
Grew up like in mainland, like Africa. Came over.
Yeah, it's very different. So I applaud her for doing that, because her accent, she was giving Viola Davis. I was like, why does she sound like Viola Davis? Like, I wonder if that's whose accent she took up, because Viola sounds country, and she's not country.
No, Viola's from like the Northeast. No?
Yeah, she's like from like New England, I think. Yeah, so it's like very interesting.
Although, is Viola, does she have like West Indian like heritage?
I don't know,
because maybe that has something to do with it. Because I think Sharon D. Clark, also her accent sounds also like maybe she has like West Indian, like
most likely she's English. Yeah, so either West Indian or African.
Yeah, but she sounded West Indian.
Yeah, so I mean, our favorite. Okay, let's get to. All right, say your favorite part.
When I realized it was a turntable, like what? I was not expecting a turntable, but there it was. We had one, and I love a turntable. That's not my favorite part though. I mean, it's one of my favorite parts. My favorite part was probably between the radio and the bus. I don't know.
I do enjoy the radio. I think Salty Teardrops is probably my favorite.
The music slaps so hard. So it's like an operetta.
Yeah, mostly sung through.
Yeah, mostly sung through. It was sung through. There was not really any like stopping to talk. Everything was, like, whatever. What's you said Salty Teardrops?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the song like the radio sings after like Caroline is just kind of is it spoilers? After Caroline basically start to like, okay, I'm gonna get over this
adjustment period, of changing,
right?
Of recognizing that she needs to change, right?
Caroline, well, she doesn't take care of him, but like, there's a little boy in the house. Like, Noah, he's actually probably like the next like narrator, I would say. He's his mother and Caroline, although his mother was Caroline's boss, apparently they were like friendly enough to where like he realized, his mother and Caroline had a good relationship. But his mother died, and the mother's friend remarried his father, So his stepmom, he's not really like into, and like Caroline is like his like world, and like they have this like kind of like special like bond. Although Caroline doesn't really she doesn't say that she thinks much of like Noah, even though you could tell through her actions that she does care for him and things like that. But like this like big thing surrounding like his like money that like happens, and like it all like blows up, and then salty teardrops happen. You're like yes, and then you're like run that back again, but they don't run it back because the show has to keep going on. It was so great. I know it was good too.
Yes,
I would say this is I feel like a hard show, and those kids are like very talented.
Yeah.
Right. When we saw, so our godbrother was in the show, in like early 2020, and when we saw that show, the parents of the children in Carolina Change were like there. So I guess in the interim of them waiting for their children, because Carolina hadn't opened yet, I don't think.
In tech, I think.
Yeah, in tech. They were going to see like a show, and they were like, yeah, kids in blah blah blah. They were talking to somebody, and they were like, yeah, so we're just waiting, and so they waited by seeing the show, and I was like, wow. And I'm not sure if those are the same kids. I didn't do my research from before. I'm not sure because they still look very small, and like in children, like 2 years past, they look very different. They sound very different, and these kids are still a bit small. I should say they're 2 small children and then like an adult. She's the girl who's in like Dear Evan Hansen, the black girl. I'm not familiar with Dear Evan Hansen, so I can't tell you like who, like her character's name or anything. But the main girl in Dear Evan Hansen, I guess she was in that. And I almost call her Betsy. That's not her name. Casey Levi played the stepmother Rose. She was very neurotic, and Caroline was gonna swing that iron. Hope she didn't. And hope she didn't hit her. I don't know. I just love the music. What's your favorite song? Salty Teardrops. I like the song. I like Salty Teardrops. I also love the bus. So Joy didn't like the bus. So personally, I thought this was
like listening to it, but I think seeing it kind of creeped me out.
First of all, the bus and the dryer played by like the same man, originally played by Chuck Cooper. But first of all, no, the dryer. The dryer was like awesome. I loved his like costuming because it's like when it started. I just love the sound, the music. You need to sort of put in that music, like when he comes and it sounds like a drum, like a drum, very like low, and then like his outfit, like he looked hot, and I'm here like, oh my god, is this man on fire? But he's not. It's just like lights, like on his like outfit, this like, and then this like red ring around his neck, and I was like, oh my god, Hades. That's what they need in Hades Town, like that. We need that technology in Hades Town because he looked hot, and I was like, yes, he's a dryer. I believe it, and then. You see him again. I didn't know that it was the same guy, but it makes sense because it kind of sounds like it a little bit. Okay. First of all, it's like okay. Also, one of my favorite parts, Dottie and Caroline. Dottie is Caroline's like friend, neighbor. She's very mean to Dottie. I don't know why she's so mean to Dottie. Dottie seems nothing but pleasant. Is going to college. Caroline's making fun of her saddle shoes. But they're like waiting for the bus, after like work, and they're like, "Where is this bus coming?" And then like it just changes, and you just hear the bus, and he sounds very like he's been working like all day, and like the stage just kind of like opens up, which kind of divides the house. It's also very important, and the bus comes through, and oh my god, the costume was so great. It's like these 2 like headlights, and then he does this like walk, and he's like, if you hear the music, it's like. I love the Bus's song, by the way. It's like you find out, like, John F. Kennedy was shot and killed, and the world was in shambles at the time, so he, was running late, and it's like obviously the bus is not really like talking, but like the chatter on the bus is, maybe the radio on the bus is, but yeah, that's why I was having a hard time. It was great. Oh man, I really loved it. I would love to go back and see it in like a seat that I could fit in. And like a seat that like maybe a lot closer because very high, and we mentioned this before, right? Mm-hmm. That like when we're very high, and it's hard for us to like see exactly like who's saying like what. Sometimes like it kind of takes you out the show a little bit, but I would say even being as uncomfortable as I was very invested in the show, and that's just snaps to Caroline because it's really hard to stay focused, like when in those conditions. But
and there's no intermission.
There's no intermission. There's no intermission. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Ooh, for you know, that theater does not have concessions in the theater. I guess they don't want you to drink, take off your mask, like at all in that theater. I was told because we were dying. I was like, we needed something, a beverage, something. We could leave the theater. We would just have to like present our like ticket stub or whatever to come back in. I was like, okay, not doing that. So, but and though there was one merch stand open, which is like located on the orchestra level, like actually behind the orchestra. There's one as you file in, a smaller like one that wasn't like open. I think it eventually like opened, but it was not open at first. Maybe they opened it up like at intermission. Yes, that's when I noticed it was open. But before that, it's not open. Yeah. So, Caroline. Oh, we got Shaw merch.
You get your complimentary playbill.
Not complimentary. It is though.
You get, well, we got a magnet.
A magnet. And you get Carolina change. It's very basic, very plain. It's just the font. And yeah, we should get a window card. We were thinking that. I don't know why we didn't, but
bye for now.
See ya. Thanks for watching.